Again, the doctor placed his bare hands on her hips. After setting down the speculum, he pulled her pussy towards his face. She could feel the cold air of the room knocking on her open cunt. She wanted to laugh. She felt so ticklish and bashfully giddy, a smitten girl in a paper smock trying to focus on hideous wallpaper as the doctor continued his fumbling. She heard a squirt. More lube. I myself never had that problem. Holly added and tightened as she waited for the speculum to enter and open up her pussy, exposing all that was possible to be seen, a dark and perfect space. But instead she felt well-lubricated fingers sans latex. Oh, escaped from her surprised lips. Are you all right, Holly? Keep saying my name, she thought, but instead she said yes, as the doctor began fucking her with his fingers. Her hips began undulating seductively, slowly. The doctor placed his left hand around her hip, pressing against the recliner, rubbing her ass cheek. Holly, close your eyes. Holly did as told, feeling as if a heavy, cool, invisible blindfold had been placed over her eyes. She heard more fiddling around, and her breath escaped her mouth in tiny gasps and moans as the doctor continued the captivating exploration of her little box. He grabbed her by the hips again, pulling her closer, and then spread her thighs even further apart. Holly felt a wet finger on her asshole. She let out a moan, and the doctor slid his slick thumb into the entrance of her tiny, tight opening. He stopped, fucking her pussy, resting his fingers at the top of her cunt. This drove Holly mad. Now she wanted a cock in her, a real one, not a tool, not a finger, but she couldn't work up the courage to ask. She couldn't even open her eyes beneath the imaginary blindfold. She raised her hips off the recliner and her feet perched on the toes in the stirrups. Please, was all she could say. She began touching her tits, playing with her hard pink nipples. She wished the doctors had more than two hands so she could suck on his fingers. Her flimsy gown was now halfway down around her stomach as she tried to maneuver her body so that she could somehow force the man's fingers deep into her pussy. As she moved, she felt his thumb push into her asshole, past the quick pain, making her crazy for cock. Doctor, please fuck me. Holly, don't say another word. Be quiet. I don't know who to look at when I'm reading this. He jabbed her hard with two fingers and then pulled them out and wiped them on her stomach, his thumb still in her asshole. He tore the smock off of her. He put his two fingers into her mouth, her taste masked by the lingering lubrication, her moans masked by his fingers filling her mouth. She held onto his hand as she sucked his fingers, trying to be quiet, to be good. Holly's always wanted to be good. The doctor continued fucking her in the ass, but her pussy remained lonely and hungry, crying for attention, tears falling from his... Tears falling from... Forgive me, Jesus. Crying for attention, tears falling from his lips. The doctor pulled his hand from her mouth. No, Holly cried. Shh, the doctor snapped, slapping Holly across the pouty mouth. Holly gasped in astonishment. Holly heard more sounds, unbuckling, unzipping, and then she felt the doctor lifting her up, pushing her naked body back, this time, her legs still in the stirrups, resting on her heels. She felt the warm head of the doctor's cock moving up and down the crying lips of her cunt. The doctor put his free hand over Holly's mouth and then pushed his cock in, causing Holly to graze the palm of the doctor's hand with her teeth. The pleasure was unbearable. He started fucking her hard at a steady rhythm, Holly's body following his lead. She tightened the walls of her pussy around the doctor's fat cock. She couldn't see it, but she could feel it. His girth, his length, filling her up. He pressed down on her mouth harder, pushing her head down into the squeaky pastel fall leather. The doctor stopped fucking her in the ass with his thumb and put his hand in her hair, grasping it from the roots. Goddamn, I'm sweating. His hands pulled her now messed up hair harder as he fucked her harder. Involuntary tears began their cascade down the soft skin of Holly's face. She felt like her womb was going to punch out of her closed mouth. Her pleasure began subsiding as she felt trapped, pinned down. The doctor just kept fucking her, and Holly, with her supreme obedience, kept her eyes closed, her blindfold still in place. But then he stopped, suddenly, keeping his cock in her. He removed his hand from her mouth. Keeping her hair in his other hand, he began playing with her clit, rubbing it in a circular motion, causing her hips to rise again, her pussy to loosen its grip on his cock. He let go of her hair, allowing a sweet sensation to rise out of the top of her head. She began to feel relaxed again, open. The doctor grabbed the lube off the metallic table and squirted a glove at the top of Holly's pussy. She didn't need it, but it felt good and refreshing, cool. But as he rubbed it on her clit and over his cock, down her labia, and all around the shaven skin of her snatch, he started fucking her again in spurts, stopping to rub her cunt. And then Holly started coming hard. She moaned and called on God. A little bit of religion in here. Her orgasm lasting an eternity, but it wasn't stopping. The wave, the little death, grabbed her by the neck. She couldn't catch her breath. She opened her eyes, but only saw black, and her ears caught on to a deafening silence. The doctor was choking her, and she was still coming, but she felt like she was losing her grasp, the light dimming. Holly slapped at his wrists. He let loose of her throat, and she stopped coming, reaching her threshold, her body falling into the cold recliner. He's magic, Holly thought, as her body began rocking again beneath the doctor's fucking. It didn't take long. He fucked quickly, pushing her hips down, and then he pulled his doctor dick out, gushing. I'm glad he didn't have a dentist dick. Gushing all over her glistening pussy. The doctor caught his breath quickly, and he grabbed a disposable wipe, wiping off his cock. He pulled up his pants, zipped them up, and buckled up his belt. Holly wasn't sure what she should do next. She patiently waited for him to tell her because, after all, he was her doctor. Thank you.
For 6th grade graduation ceremonies, if you'd like them to read that. Seriously, their book is in the corner and it costs $6. Thanks a lot for everyone for coming out tonight and supporting the Cherry Bleeds reading. And thanks to the Knockout for supporting us, and see you at some time in the future.